I am constantly getting questions from you guys about whether you should leave your gym. All the time, every week, somebody's like, Gabriel, here's my situation. Should I leave the gym and find another? Well, I'm gonna highlight some reasons for you today that you should leave if your gym is sparring in one of these 5 ways. All right, I've already done a similar video to this, except we were not focusing on sparring. I was pointing out red flags at your gym. Or I think I had another video where it was red flags about your instructor. But sparring, the moments when we actually spar and the way that we spar, these have their own red flags. And you need a great gym sparring the right way for you to stick around and give them your energy and your money. So be ready for some real insight into what makes a gym great. And I want to let everybody know that my Strike Ready movement program, where we're focusing on balance, footwork, and range, is now available. Once again, there's a link down below, and just $99 right now to up your striking skills. Remember, offense and defense are both stemming from great range control, great range understanding, and obviously fantastic footwork. And I know you'll love this course, so I'm looking forward to you getting yourself signed up. Now, sparring. There are so many things that we have to be aware of to keep ourselves safe and to get better. We want to improve. But just going in and just sparring and sparring and sparring and not understanding the best way to spar, that's not up for you to understand. It should not be on you to figure out what the best ways are. Your coach, your instructor should be doing this for you. So I'm going to have some things today that you should never see in your gym, and some things that you should be seeing that a lot of gyms do not provide during sparring sessions. And the very first one that I want to talk about is if your coach is not sparring with you. Now, there's obviously some reasons why you will have certain coaches who don't spar. Right? Maybe their body's very injured. Maybe they've got great students that they've trained who are already kind of like coaches within the gym, and those guys can spar with you. But if you just have a whole bunch of beginners and intermediates all sparring together, you're not gonna get as good as if you have somebody across from you who has a fantastic skill level. That's what you should be looking for. Again, it doesn't matter if it's specifically the one head coach at the gym is not sparring, it's that you have super advanced guys to spar with, because what can they provide for you? They can provide, number one, a safe space for you to go in and try new things and not get really hurt because of it, right? If I'm stepping in and I'm like, okay, I want to try stepping with my head off the center line and throwing a punch, but you do that one too many times with your hand down, the advanced person should be going, oh no, and controlling a kick and just like letting you know that you would have got knocked out. You're not going to get that kind of skill set, that improved understanding of sparring with somebody your own skill level, because they either won't pick up on it or they're going to hit you way too hard. So having that advantage of sparring with somebody who's very good is so important, in my opinion. So look around and make sure you're getting that at your gym. Time with people who are significantly better than you. If not, it might be time to find somewhere else to train. The next thing which you should be on the lookout for is crazy hard sparring with no real purpose. And we see videos of these all the time over the internet, right? You just go scroll through anything, any platform, and you'll see somebody just, and they're brawling and just slugging it out, and the coach is just there. Somebody's there filming, or the coach is in the background. They're just kind of like, okay. That shouldn't be happening, right? There's a time and a place to go hard right before a fight, but again, it needs to be proper hard sparring, not just, oh, we're trying to knock each other down and we don't think twice about it. That is ridiculous. If you are in sparring and you feel it's okay for you, based on gym standards, to try and knock your opponent down, or you feel like the person on the other side is trying to knock you down, red flag. That is not good. How many times can you get hit that hard before you're going to have some damage up there? And you don't want to wait too long until it happens to go out and find a new gym. You want to be noting, this is a red flag, and I'm out of here to find somewhere where I can spar safely. But on the flip side of that, if you are a gym where it's Muay Thai, let's say Muay Thai guys are very well known for just really light sparring, not all the time, but very often. And if it's just a gym where you're just kind of doing this, and it's just that light, and you're actually thinking of competing, right? If you're just doing it for fun, spar away. Have fun. Do that. It's a great time. I love doing that. If I have a fight coming while I do that, no, absolutely not. There needs to be something between that really light, playful sparring and that ridiculously hard sparring where people are trying to knock each other out. Something in between there to help you prep up for your fights. But I've seen too many people who spar for years just playing around, oh, and they're smiling, and then they go and fight and they're shocked that the fight is not like that and they can't just control the pace. So that's a red flag as well. You need to have sparring that is going to challenge you enough. Now, one of my favorite things when I started taking over the adult classes years and years ago, I was a student and then the instructor's like, can you start teaching some classes? One of my favorite things to start doing then was to put rules on sparring. So if you're just every time going, oh, okay, sparring session, everybody go. And there's no set direction on what we're trying to accomplish today, no set rules on what we're doing within sparring, I'm like, we're not helping people become their best. Because what's going to happen if you send somebody in to spar with no rules? They're always, most likely, going to do the same thing over and over and over. The things they're best at, the things they are successful at. But if you, for example, say to the class, okay, today we're only allowed to throw hands and low kicks. Anybody who is a great fighter like this, oh, you know, they're doing this kind of stuff and they're doing the long range kicks, all of a sudden they can't do that. And they are forced to fight outside their comfort zone. This is a way to help people spar and improve their skills by not doing the things they are just number one or number two or number three best at. This is what makes you very good. And I think all instructors should be putting rules sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes on sparring to help everybody improve and find the weak areas of everyone's game. The final sparring red flag that I want to point out to you, which to me is just such a ridiculous area that the instructor or the coach would not come over and say to certain people, no, this is no good, is when we have students sparring without the appropriate gear. Oh my gosh, guys. Like when we get people showing up at class and they're still wearing their shoes as they spar, or they don't have shin pads on and they think it's okay to spar, or they show up with MMA gloves, small MMA gloves, and they're sparring hard, or in my opinion, they're not wearing knee pads if they're going to throw hard knees. There's so many things that need to be in place to make sparring as safe as possible. And I see it too often when people show up without the right gear and they just think, oh, okay, I can still spar like normal. Of course, sometimes in my small kids classes, I'll have a student who's like, oh no, sensei, I forgot my shin pads. I'm like, oh, it's okay, it's okay. You're just gonna box today. Tell everybody else when you get to them that you're only allowed to box because I don't want you kicking anybody with no shin pads on. So it's up to the coach, it's up to the gym to have those etiquette rules on the wall. If you don't have your mouth guard, you don't spar today. If you don't have the correct gear to protect others, you don't spar today, or you spar with alternative rules to keep everyone safe. But to not do that is just crazy. And how long until somebody walks in with shoes and kicks you hard in the face because they don't have to worry about their toes getting busted up and they just blast in something which really hurts you? Or they do something like throw a kick up and they split your head open because they don't have the shin protectors. Right? Shin protectors don't necessarily stop you from getting concussed, but they'll stop you from getting your face split open and having to go to the hospital to get stitches. So everything I mentioned to you today, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to be like, oh, I hate my gym now. They did one of the 5 things Gabriel said, I'm going to a new gym. Not necessarily. But if you start going, oh, they do this wrong and this, and this, if we start getting into 3 things and 4 things and 5 things that your gym is doing during sparring, which are all red flags, yeah, it might be time to go somewhere else because safety is very important. Your skill set improving is very important. And honestly, I could probably go on and on and on about other things that are red flags when it comes to sparring, but we're just going to stop it there because 5 is a nice number. a nice length of episode too. So thanks for joining everybody. I will see you back here very soon.